Welcome to my maths class once again. In today's video lesson, we are going to learn about the irrational numbers. Okay, let's have a previous knowledge on the irrational numbers. They are represented by q dash, right? They cannot be formed in the form of p by q. They cannot be written in the form of p by q. Okay, and where q is not equal to 0. Because they are not rational, they cannot be written in the form of p by q. And can we represent the irrational numbers on the number line? Yes, we do. We can represent them on number line. Okay, we represent all the whole numbers, like all the rational numbers on the number line, all the irrational numbers on the line. That means we can represent the real numbers on the number line. You have studied this in your 9th class first chapter. We have represented them on the number line. Okay. Then the decimal expansion of the irrational numbers are always non-terminating, non-repeating decimals. In previous video lesson, we knew this concept. What is non-terminating, non-repeating? So the decimal expansion of the irrational numbers are non-terminating, non-repeating decimals. And what else? Basically, they cannot form a ratio. Okay. From the word rational itself, we can say there's ratio. Ratio has been derived from the word rational. So if it is irrational, they cannot be represented in the form of ratio. Ratio means p is to q or p by q. So they cannot be represented. And what else? If you write, for example of non-terminating, non-repeating, I can give an example. Yesterday, like in our previous class, we have told the pi value. Now, for example, let me take 0.10100100001. Likewise, you can write so on. This is a non-terminating as well as non-repeating. So this is a rational number. Okay. In day-to-day mathematics, we are coming across so many irrational numbers. So a few of them I'll list out. See here, root 2, okay, root 3, root 5, root 8, root 15, okay, root 27, root 64. These are all commonly we are using the irrational numbers. Okay, when we see here all the irrational numbers, you may get a doubt. You may ask me, ma'am, are all the numbers coming under a square root irrational? You may get that doubt. Are all the rational numbers coming under a square root irrational? No, it is not so. See, all the numbers here I told they are irrational, but all the numbers coming under a square root are not irrational, because we see this number, this is not irrational because this is a number coming under square root. It is a value of 64 square root 8. 8 is rational, isn't it? Okay, then we can say that all numbers coming under square root are not irrational. We can simply, from this we can justify that if I take a positive integer under root, if I take a positive integer under a square root, there are two possibilities. It may be, the answer may be integer or irrational. So the answer for this, for root 64, here you got. So all the numbers under square root may be integers or irrational. So all irrational numbers need not be numbers under square root. Okay. Now if I take, so if I tell that, so ma'am, like you may get a doubt, they are primes, isn't it? So if a prime number under root is irrational, is a prime number under a root is irrational. You may get this doubt. Okay. This is 100% true. See this? This is 100% true. A prime number which is coming under square root is irrational. But when you look here, these examples which I gave you, see here, root 15 is irrational, I am telling. Okay? But 15 is not prime. Isn't it? 15 is not prime. It is a composite number because it is having factors 3 and 5. So, all prime numbers coming under root are irrational. That is 100% true. But all irrational numbers need not be prime numbers under root. You got that point? All prime numbers under root are irrational. But all irrational numbers need not be, preferably, under square root of prime. That is an example. Root 15 is irrational. But 15 is not prime. It is a composite. From this we can conclude that, I can tell, a composite number, if I take a composite number, the answer for that, the square root, may be integers or irrational. For this explanation, the 15, I am telling you, you can take a composite number, so that square root may be integers or irrational. So, clearly understand, children, under root of prime number is irrational. That is 100% true. But all irrational numbers need not be prime numbers under root. So, we can generalize that a composite number under root can be integer or irrational. Okay. Now, if you see, and this is all about your previous knowledge which you studied in your 9. Let me tell you. Let us revise few concepts. A rational number, okay? The sum of the rational numbers is again a rational number. Even the difference also a rational number. And if you take a product of two rational numbers is a rational number. Okay? These are all which you have studied in your previous classes. When you take the quotient, when you divide it, the quotient is also a rational number. Okay, the product, the quotient, the sum, difference, everything, rational numbers are rational. When we see for irrational numbers, let me say, okay, let us go because we are having problems regarding rational and irrational. Okay, few problems. So, if you take a rational number plus minus an irrational number, okay, I will represent it as IR. Rational and irrational number is surely an irrational. Sum or difference of a rational and irrational number is an irrational number. When you take the product of rational and irrational also, irrational. Likewise the quotient. Okay. So with all these concepts in your mind, and also there is one simple theorem which for the examination point of view, no need of the proof, just you understand the statement. Okay, that theorem, let me tell you, that is in your textbook 1.6 I think, right, 1.6. okay, let P be a prime number, let P be a prime number, okay, and A be a positive integer. A be a positive integer. Then if P divides A square, then it surely divides A. Then P divides A. P divides A. This is the theorem, a simple theorem. P is a prime number, A is a positive integer. If the condition, this is if P divides A square, then it will surely divide A. P divides A square, then P divides A. For this, no need of proof for the examination point of view. Just you understand the statement. Okay. Now let's proceed into the some example problems. I'll be telling you on irrationality, proving irrationality of the irrational numbers. How to show root to irrational. Okay. Then we'll proceed to the exercise. Exercise problem. Very important. This is an example problem. These example problems and exercise problems, they are very important for the examination point of view. One question will surely come regarding the irrationality. Okay. Now show that root 2 is irrational. If you clearly listen this carefully, if you listen this, you can solve for root 3, root 5, root 8, root 15, whatever given in the exam. Okay. See here, for this we know that root 2 is irrational, but we have to prove its irrationality. Okay. For this, we'll go by the method of contradiction. What is the method of contradiction? I'll quickly tell you. Method of contradiction. What do you mean by contradiction? When I say something right, and if you go through a process, and if that comes wrong, that means for my statement it is contradicting. It is coming something false. So what I assumed before will become the negative thing. Okay, that is contradiction. For example, if I take some statement that is something false. One statement. Through a process, I'll go through a process, I got a statement as true. That means my assumption here, what I assumed, what I supposed, my assumption is contradicting to my proven thing. The assumption is contradicting here. That means then the fact is that this is false, which I have taken false is wrong. Then what is right? The true is only right. Okay, that is contradiction. Just example I told you, the statement which is wrong has to be proved true. Then what our supposition will be, it will come true again. So that is the method. Don't get confused, but I am telling you in a simple way. When you look at the problem, you will easily understand. No confusion at all. Okay, but concentrate here. Now let me think that root 2 is irrational is the problem. Okay. On the contrary, contrary means something which is contradicting. On the contrary, okay, I will suppose, supposing means assuming, okay, let root 2 be a rational number. See, contrary means I have to prove irrational, so I have taken rational. Root 2 is a rational number. Yeah. The examination point of view, each and every step is important here. You understand and you have to write as it is. It is not like problem solving. Okay. Root 2 be a rational number. We know the definition of rational number. It can be written in the form of P by Q form, where Q not equal to 0. Isn't it? Okay. Now, let this P and Q are having common factors. Okay. So, by cancelling the common factors, by cancelling them, you are understanding? And supposing these P and Q, they are integers, isn't it? We know that they are integers and Q value not equal to 0 as per the definition of rational numbers. Let P and Q are having common factors. So, by cancelling the common factors in both of them, after cancelling, we get A upon B. Okay, I am telling the statement, this I'll tell you. Example, I am telling my P by Q as you take 15 by 25 or like 10 by 15. This is my rational number. Okay, I am telling that is in the form of P by Q. P is 10, Q is 15. So, what I told, we are having common factors. They are having some common factors. Let me write down the factors of this. 2 5s, 3 5s. having common factors. So by cancelling we get A by B. So those common factors I need to cancel. The common here is 5, 5. So I got 2 by 3. So what I am telling, this is A by B. So A is 2, B is 3. Okay. So by cancelling the common factors we get A by B. Those are those A by B where A and B are co-primes. Take any rational number, cancel the common part in that, you will obviously get the co-primes, because co-primes, the definition itself is that there are no common factors in between those two except for one, isn't it? So when you are cancelling the common factors, you will be getting co-primes. So A and B here are co-primes. You can see 2 and 3 are co-primes. They are not having factors other than common factors other than 1, isn't it? 1 and 2 for 2 and 1 and 3 for 3, right? So for this, you to understand, I have written an example. No need of that, okay? Don't write that in your examination, just for your understand. So by cancelling we get A by B. By cancelling the common factors, I mean to tell, where A and B are co-primes. So what? So here A by B. Okay. P by Q has changed after, like I am simplifying, just I am simplifying and getting into the least terms. So they become A and B. So let me cross multiply it. It is B root 2 equal to A. Squaring both sides. Squaring both sides. And square both sides here. Square root square cancel. Here B square, A square. Okay. Let this be my equation 1. And B square is equal to A square by, if I bring this 2, it is in multiplication. If I bring this 2 here, it becomes division to the other side. Okay. So here if you see, B square is equal to A square by 2. That means 2 is dividing A square. And according to theorem, we know that if a prime number, 2 is a prime number divides a positive integer square, it divides the positive integer according to the theorem which we know previously. P divides A square, then surely P divides A. So here 2 is dividing A square, it means we can tell 2 divides A according to the theorem. Okay. According to theorem 1.6. Here A square is dividing 2 means 2 divides A. Understood this? We got this one. Okay. Now if this if you are taking here, if you are assuming 2 divides A, like that means A is being divided by 2. Okay, we got this. A is being divided by 2. If A is dividing by 2, we will get some value, some answer. Let me suppose this as C. Okay. If you cross multiply, A is equal to 2C. I will substitute the value of A here in my equation 1. Substitute in equation 1. Okay, I'm substituting A is equal to C in equation 1. Okay, see here. What is equation 1? 2b square is equal to A square. Let me write 2b square is equal to A square. I will substitute 2b square is equal to A is 2c whole square. That comes to 2b square is equal to 4c square. If I square it on both sides, you cancel it, comes to 2. So b square is equal to 2c square. Okay, if you bring this 2 here, b square by 2 equal to c square. Okay, if you see this again, according to theorem, 2 is dividing b square, that means 2 divides b. Okay, b by 2. 2 is dividing b, that means 2 divides b. We got divides A also. 2 is dividing A and 2 is dividing B. What does that mean? We can conclude that A and B are having a common factor 2. Isn't it? 2 is divided by A and 2 is dividing by B. That means A and B have a common factor 2. Isn't it? That means here we told that A and B are our prime numbers, co-primes, isn't it? Here they are co-primes. Co-primes means they should not have any common factor. But in the conclusion we got that they are having a common factor 2. That means this is a contradiction. This is contradicting our statement. It is a contradiction. A contradiction has arisen in the process. That means the assumption what we have taken is false. The fact that the assumption what we supposed is false. So this is a contradiction. The assumption taken is false. Hence, we can conclude that root 2 is irrational. So, the assumption is false means what I assumed here. I assumed root 2 is a rational number. That is false. That means our root 2 is irrational. Like this, we can prove. This is very important. Just pause the video, note it down, and you can easily, if you understand each and every step, you can easily find out root 3, root 5, root 7, root 8, root 15. Not root 15. Root 15 you cannot. You can find such problems like root 7, root 5, all that in the same way. You got this? So clearly, again, pause it and note it down, and let's see another example. Example problem here. Prove that root 2 plus root 3 is irrational. Okay. What we have to start? In the method of contradiction, we have to start, if it is irrational, on the contrary, we have to start that this is rational. Okay. Let root 2 plus root 3 is a rational number. Is a rational number. That means root 2 plus root 3, concentrate children here, root 2 plus root 3 is equal to A by B. I told it is rational in the form of A by B, where A and B are integers, and B not equal to 0. That itself is a definition of rational numbers, isn't it? By B, where A and B are integers, B not equal to 0. Okay, now if you see here, I'll keep this root 2 this side. I'll send root 3 plus root 3 to the other side. A plus B, it becomes minus root 3. Okay, squaring on both sides. Squaring on both sides. So if you square here, it becomes just 2. A by B. Okay, squaring on both sides here. A minus B, algebraic identity. A minus B whole square. This is complete thing is A, you assume. This is B. A minus B whole square is A square plus B square minus 2AB. So here square root square cancels. Just 2 we get. Now this is A. The complete thing is A square, that means A square plus B square is root 3 whole square. Root 3 whole square is 3. Square root square cut off minus 2 into A into B. A is this into B. I have expanded it in the identity A minus B whole square. Now here if you see, we will be rearranging few terms. Rearranging terms. See, this complete term, I'll bring it into the left hand side, and this I'll send it here. The term is having minus symbol here. If it comes here, it becomes plus 2A by B root 3 equal to a square b square plus 3. This plus 2 goes there, means it becomes minus 2. So 3 minus 2, a square b square plus 1. Here we got 2a by b root 3 we got. Understood till here? What I did, just I am rearranging this term I am sending here, this term I have got it here. Now if you see this, I'll keep root 3 here and 2a by b, this fraction part I'll send it to the other side. If you send the fraction part other side, it becomes a reciprocal. Addition becomes subtraction, multiplication becomes division. When you send a fraction to the other side, it becomes a reciprocal. Now see here, first before that I'll take an LCM here, a square plus b square by b square. If I take LCM of both of them. Now I'll send this fraction to the other side. So here root 3 is there. This fraction to the other side, if you go a square plus b square by b square, the fractions become reciprocal, b by 2a. 2a by b, b by 2a. Cancel both b terms. Root 3 is equal. We are cancelling b. So there are two b's here, one b here. Root 3 is equal to a square plus b square. Here 1b, 2ab. Okay. We got this. Root 3 is equal to a square b square by 2ab. We know that what we assume here, it is a rational number where a and b are integers. Just integers. When a and b are integers, that means integers square by division integers. All integers. That means root 3 here. Integers by integers, this is a rational number. This becomes a rational number. If this is a rational number, the LHS part you see, root 3. Root 3 also naturally becomes a rational number. But this is contradicting. We know that root 3 is irrational. Isn't it? This irrational number. We know that root 3 is an irrational number. So this is contradicting. This contradicts the fact. Contradicts the fact or our assumption. Our assumption. This is contradicting our assumption that root 2 plus root 3 is a rational number. So obviously we can conclude that root 2 plus root 3 is irrational. Okay, I'll repeat once, don't get confused. I'm taking to the contrary. If it is to be proved that it is irrational, I'm taking it as rational. Rational definition I wrote. They are integers. I have equated root 3 to that side. I have squared. I have rearranged it. I have brought it into an equation. I have simplified here. Then after cancelling the common terms, you get root 3 in the form of integers. Like division of integers is nothing but a rational number. But we know that root 3 is an irrational number. This is contradicting our assumption. So our assumption is that root 2 plus root 3 is rational. So it is false. Now what is true? It is an irrational number. We can conclude. So like this, I have explained you two example problems. Same thing are given in your exercise. Okay. Now let's do one of the exercise problems. Then you can solve on your own. Study the concept. Read. Pause and read again. Practice the concept. You will be getting surely in the examination. You need to practice. Okay. Let's proceed to the exercise problem. We'll quickly see the exercise problems. You can solve it on your own, because if you understand clearly the example problems, you can solve these exercise problems on your own. Okay. Prove that 6 plus root 2 is irrational. What we have to start? The contrary, that 6 plus root 2 let is rational. Okay, we have to prove that 6 plus root 2 is rational. That means 6 plus root 2 is equal to a by b or p by q something. A, b are integers, b not equal to 0. Now if I suppose root 2 is equal to this, a by b or p by q, anything you can take. Okay. 6, I'll send it to the other side, it becomes minus 6. Okay. Right, a, b are integers, b not equal to 0. Okay. Now here a by b is, they are integers, that means this is a rational number, minus rational number. We know that rational number minus rational number is again a rational number. From the prerequisite which we learned in the 9th, addition or subtraction of rational numbers gives a rational number. So this complete thing, the RHS part is a rational number. Okay, that means our root 2 we got it as a rational number. But we know that root 2 is irrational, isn't it? Root 2 is irrational. This is contradicting. The same thing you can write, this contradicts our assumption. Our assumption that, so our supposition that is rational is false. So you can say, you can conclude that 6 plus root 2 is irrational. So understanding the example problems itself, you can easily solve. There is only one bit in your exercise, one bit having 4 to 5 problems. So solve the problems, understand the concept, practice the sums. Okay, we'll see in our next class about the logarithms. Thank you all.